Hi, I'm Genevieve. I'm the LGBT rep for IHH and I'm a third year music student.
Hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm campaigns officer for IHH and I'm a master's sociology student.
Right.
That's a difficult one because I think there's a lot of different reasons and they differ depending on which kind of demographic you fall under.
Yeah.
For women, I think a lot of it is to do with the hypersexualisation, especially of like women couples.
Yeah.
You get a lot of men expecting something from them.
Yeah.
But it's not like it is in the films. Like
it's not. Like we're not in a couple for you.
Yeah,
like we
exactly.
are not holding hands for you, or doing a bit of PDA for you.
Yeah, and I think sometimes some guys can be a bit like, oh, well, you do it with this girl, why don't you do it with me? And then it kind of leads into these horrible situations of sexual violence.
Yeah.
It could be anything from just like groping or like trying to get you to kiss them, that kind of thing, which is really grim.
I've had experiences of being out with a partner in like clubs and stuff, and we'll just have a quick kiss and guys will just crowd around you, and it's like an audience, and you then feel unsafe, like you feel like you can't leave your partner to go to the toilet, or you can't be split up from the group or whatever, just because it's quite predatory behaviour.
Yeah, it can be quite dangerous just to be like living your life as a LGBT person, which leads to a lot of sexual violence. 44% of lesbians and 61% of bisexual women experience rape, physical violence or stalking by an intimate partner, compared to 35% of heterosexual women, which is like a vast difference.
It's wildly different.
Especially for bisexual women.
Yeah.
Which is horrific as a bisexual woman.
Yeah, as a pansexual woman, I feel like it's quite frightening.
Yeah. And the more I think about it, a lot of people I know that are bisexual women have had these experiences in different ways.
Yeah.
And of course, sometimes it's not necessarily directly linked to your sexuality. That doesn't always play into it, but sometimes it really does. Mm-hmm. Especially, like I said before, kind of the expectations and people feel like you owe them something. Yeah. I think especially with kind of multi-orientations like bisexuality, pansexuality, that kind of thing, people think, well, you are so open to so many different things, you should be open to this thing that I want to do. And
pressuring like polyamorous or threesomes and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, there's that huge expectation, and like if someone's getting you to do a threesome or something you don't want to do, that is sexual violence. That's not right. I'm really like quite shocked by those statistics. Yeah. But also kind of not. It's kind of
sadly,
makes sense.
Like sadly not that shocked, but also like it's just quite a frightening statistic. Like just in general.
Yeah, to know that the majority of bisexual women are like people like me are gonna experience these horrible things. Exactly. They shouldn't have to, and nobody should have to. But it's awful. It's a kind of more prevalent rate. Yeah. And for men, 40% of gay men and 47% of bisexual men have experienced sexual violence other than rape, compared to 21% of heterosexual men.
I completely understand that, and I've witnessed it. Yeah. And so you go into a gay club or something, and you've got quite young men, young, what you call twinks in there. Being preyed on by, and it's quite stereotypical, but can be preyed on by older.
It does happen.
I've seen it happen firsthand, and not to stereotype, but it's quite a vulnerable situation.
And I think as well, because a lot of the places where sexual violence happens, it's often in kind of an alcohol-fueled environment. Yeah. And a lot of LGBT culture is about that, and it's quite drugs, dangerous.
Yeah. And poppers, and the fact that poppers are sold in bars, and
people see it as a fun thing, and don't necessarily realise kind of the risk, or they don't realise what's happening to them until it's too late. Yeah, and there's also a huge discrepancy in support for men, particularly who've been experiencing sexual violence. There's the services that are for women are underfunded as it is, but there's next to nothing for men, which probably these statistics are probably lower than the reality.
Probably.
The people that don't report because they think, well, there's nothing for me.
Exactly, and I feel like with bisexual men especially, it's kind of like the stigma around
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Like
especially if it's a female perpetrator.
Like you'd feel. I know some people could be like quite embarrassed that they've been assaulted by a woman, or even if they're not out as bi, be like assaulted.
A lot of confusing feelings as well.
Exactly.
Within the LGBTQ community, transgender people and bisexual women face the most alarming rates of sexual violence.
Yeah.
And I'm cisgender, so I can't speak for transgender people, but I definitely am aware of the alarming rates, especially for sex workers. A lot of, especially trans women of colour, work in sex work, and there's a lot of
quite violent,
horrible things that happen
assaults,
there. Which is worrying as well, especially because a lot of the services don't necessarily cater to trans people.
No.
Or they don't know where to put them. They're like, do I refer you to this or this? Or like
they're not sure what box to put them in.
which is ridiculous. They should just have access to the healthcare and services they need.
Yeah.
So there's a few options. I think always best, it kind of depends what's happening, what you feel is the best route for you. There's REACH, which we have for centre locally, and they deal with sexual violence, sexual assault, and they deal with men and women, which is really good because a lot of these service providers are only able to provide
a service for women.
For cisgender women generally as well. So REACH is a good service
for everyone.
Yeah. There's also a charity and kind of a helpline, the Gallup, I think it's pronounced, and that's a really good place as well to get advice. But I think it's quite difficult because you kind of feel that especially if kind of the perpetrator is kind of the same gender as you or that kind of thing, it can be difficult to know, or should I go to this service or a specific LGBT one, but you just hope that people can get the help they need.
Yeah, there's also a lot of services like you can find online, lots of different specifics, so catering towards what you feel
online's
is
a
needed.
huge resource, and hopefully it just improves because there I think there's definitely huge gaps in awareness and provision that need to be addressed because it's not fair.
Yeah.
Believe them would be like a big, it sounds really simple, but it's very easy to be dismissed.
And just listen to them, give them a voice, be that person that they can talk to.
Be that advocate for them if they need your help to access services, help people. Just be nice. Like it sounds really simple, but a lot of people really struggle with these things, and it can take.
It takes a lot of courage as well to actually come forward, and it might take them some time, but you need to, no matter how long it's been or whatever, actually listen to them and try and be just a good friend, to be honest.
And I think if you notice something happening, say if you're out on the gay scene or you're just out anywhere in the street.
Or even like a gay couple within a straight bar.
Keep an eye on them, and if you see something that looks wrong or worrying, if you feel like you can't intervene, get someone who can.
A member of staff. If you feel like it's too dangerous or something, you do phone the police or tell a member of staff. Don't go in there alone if you feel like it's too dangerous.
You can. If sometimes just saying like, "Oh, hey, are you okay? Do you want to come get some water?" Kind of like, it can save people from
a multitude of problems.
A lot of horrible things. I think just be kind and look out for people, and just as you would with anyone, regardless of whether they're in the LGBT community or not.
Just be a decent person.
Yeah.